Like any other genre, black metal is seriously bloated with paint-by-numbers pumpkin spice latte releases. These are not those albums.
Seriously, you're totally elitist. You feel like the unappreciated scholars, so you shit on the people who know less than you. No. Which is everybody. Yeah.
And we're kicking off this best of the year list with Orob and Aube Noir. One of my favorite styles of black metal is the progressive subgenre, and this French band channels those best elements of Enslaved, Bluthaus Nord, and Shamash. The harsh vocals are pure Grutel, and the mantra-like clean straight out of Cosmosophy or Triangle, with tracks like Spectral and Astral taking us on a twisting journey through the mystical veil. The album manages to both take me back to my first time listening to classics like Isa, while still delivering a fresh new experience. It's dark and haunting, yet also deeply transcendent. Like diving into the depths of your inner demons only to claw your way back to the light with sheer willpower.
You've got to get your butt in gear and do it.
Next up is White Ward with False Light. This Ukrainian band continues to drop some of the most unique and resonant black metal in the game, tackling heady philosophical and social issues through a stunning mix of post-metal, progressive, and dark jazz, all working in unison to carry ambitious compositions like the 13-plus minute brass-infused Leviathan or post-punk-influenced Chronos. White Ward proved that when given the opportunity, people still respond to music that tosses the rulebook in the garbage. It's high art that avoids pretension by also being deeply visceral and relatable in its seemingly bottomless sorrow. So if you also appreciate music that isn't just a carbon copy of everything else, check out the A24 of black metal. Next up is The Spirit with Of Clarity and Galactic Structures. I've been following this German progressive black and death metal band for a few years now, and each release is better than the last. Fans of bands like Dissection should really love the fusion of aggression and earworm melodic riffing on display, with atmosphere that is appropriately icy, but here within the context of the cold vacuum of space. Expect plenty of transitions between melodic black metal, doom, and more overtly prog sections as with the lengthier Arcane Wanderer or the powerful synth-infused instrumental closer Laniakia, a Spacey album best experienced from start to finish. Then we have Nitrachwin with Kanawha Black. It's hard to live up to a 7-year hype after dropping one of the seminal albums of 2015, but damned if Nechochwen haven't done it again. There are some general quirks one could use to describe the overall sound, but to do so would betray the sheer amount of variety on display with this new outing. The title track had me reflecting on what it might sound like if Chemist collabed with Panopticon. Meanwhile, A Cure for Winter Plagues gets super funeral doomy, Generations of War contrasts malevolent-sounding harmonized guitars with what sounds like a courting flute, and then both Visions, Dreams, and Signs, an epic closer across the divide, are brimming with moody acoustic and soaring black and melodic riffs on par with early Opeth. Another majestic display of unbridled passion and creativity.
I'm more of your unknown warrior. Yeah, you know my name? William Knifeman.
Next up is Gorix with Kamienie. So many black metal bands go for the wall of sound approach when building atmosphere, so it's refreshing to find albums that do an even better job with a minimalist approach. Right from the opening track, the pendulum-like swing of the bassy guitars and almost improvisational sounding vocals set an imposing tone that few do with 10 times the notes. At once bitter and despairing, this is the musical equivalent of Abandon All Hope Ye Who Enter Here. Doomy with crunchy, groovy bass lines and entrancing serpent-like guitars. At once dark, nihilistic, and hypnotic, as if casting a black spell on anyone who dares to listen.
Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
Next up is Watain with the Agony and Ecstacy of Watain. I really did not think this album would make this list, but if you ask me, the Agony and Ecstasy of Watain is at once among their most aggressive and most dynamic to date. With instant classic ragers like Ecstasies in the Night Infinite, The Howling, and Leper's Grace, broken up by more plotting and atmospheric fare like Saramosa, Not Sun Nor Man Nor God, and especially the haunting We Remain. The resulting pacing is frankly exquisite, making for a highly engaging experience and perfectly captured by some of their best production as well. Think the best elements of Lawless Darkness and Sworn to the Dark, but with a slightly more ambitious scope and a much more focused runtime.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Then there's Blut Nord with Disharmonium, Undreamable Abysses. The fusion of Blut Nord with Lovecraftian themes and imagery is, in a word,
perfection.
Tales of the Old Dreamer sounds like massive elder gods lumbering over the listener, joined by cloaked cultists enthusiastically sermonizing at their arrival. Chants of the Deep One's warbly guitars and pulsating bass sound like their alien language alongside the constantly tunneling effect of the blast beats. And I continue to be amazed at the sound Blut Nord conjures from their instruments, as with the groaning electricity opening of That Cannot Be Dreamed. Every track is brimming with the atmosphere of the Unnameable for another masterpiece that is utterly captivating from start to finish. Check out the tier list I did for my full review and ranking within their discography, but this is easily one of their best albums so far.
Why are you running?
Then we have Aenaon with Mnemosyne. This highly underrated Greek band can go toe-to-toe with the avant-garde greats like Psy any day of the week. Aenaon have been absolutely crushing this genre, matching aggressive head-bobbing guitars and snarling prophetic vocals with wailing saxophone and Hammond organ. With tracks like Cartesian Eye and Sinistry of Heartbeat sounding as if they're broadcast from Twin Peaks' otherworldly Red Room. The plotting bass, the eerie organ breaks, the Faith No More meets black metal sensibilities, all painstakingly crafted with an attention to detail that puts most other bands to shame. It's unfortunate that despite being around since the mid-2000s, they still get so little respect, but there's no time like the present to get the hype train moving.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Then we have Veilburner with Veilburner. Another absolutely sick and underrated band that doesn't get nearly the respect it deserves. This duo has been dropping brain-meltingly psychedelic black metal since 2014, and this sixth outing doesn't skimp on the madness. With the inevitable spiral into insanity set up right from the first warbly notes of vulgar incantations. It's like Deathspell Omega and Inquisition hopped up on LSD and PCP with some campy 50s sci-fi noises for good measure. I listen to these guitars and frothing, unhinged sermons of Chrism and can't help but turn into Sam Neill at the end of In the Mouth of Madness. And then of course we have Imperial Triumphant with Spirit of Ecstasy. It's rare that I have this level of hype for an album, and even rarer that it actually meets those high expectations. But once more, Imperial Triumphant have outdone themselves to the point that you've probably heard me mention it in at least a dozen videos at this point. With tracks like Maximalist Scream, Tower of Glory, City of Shame, and Mercurius Gilded easily among their most mind-bending compositions to date. Zach, Kenny, and Steve continue to deliver on their usual promise of insane, jazz-infused performances, but with a clear continued maturation in terms of their songwriting. And the flourishes of saxophone, trumpet, piano, and other instruments just keep getting better and better. Even if you don't enjoy it, I feel like you'll at least respect it. Y'all check out this playlist for more of my best of the year list, or this playlist for more black metal related videos, and let me know your favorite black metal albums of the year that kind of stepped outside of the box. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.